Hey guys, Brennan here with another Survivor Power Rankings. Had to do a post-merge episode. I was going to do just at the end of the week too, but nah, we're doing end of episode 5. The merge has just happened and we've just had a crazy vote. Spoilers coming up. So for the love of God, do not watch if you haven't seen the episode yet. If you have seen the episode, definitely watch. Of course you should. You should like, subscribe, comment below, rant, disagree with everything I say. That's all good as long as you interact and keep the conversation going about this amazing game. Let's get into it. And Sarah has been voted off. In my previous week 1 power rankings, Sarah on paper was still in a pretty good position, but I ranked Sarah the lowest out of anyone in the game because she was playing terribly. She had the right idea early on to get rid of David. That was a good idea, to not play in David's shadow. Awesome. She then massively regretted it, and even though Kirby strong-arming her at Tribal Council to vote David actually was doing her a favour, she has torched her game ever since then. She is the player, I believe, with the least experience playing Survivor. She also played a long time ago in the grand scale. Like, compared to other players, she really has... It's been a while. 2017 is when she played last. So, yeah, Sarah was... good to see, I think, Sarah go home. She's probably not quite as entertaining as most of the other players. And actually is a very good Survivor player, but in this cast, she's not that good at all. I would have said that with Shonny. I thought Shonny was actually not the greatest Survivor player, but I think her experience and her people skills, which she does have a ton of both, have actually done pretty well for her. She's been really good. She's actually taken Sarah's place as Kirby's ride or die. And yeah, but anyway, Sarah well and truly deserved to be voted off. She was the worst player in the game of the people who were left. Frankly, the worst player in the game, in my opinion, besides Rob and George. I think David got a bit unlucky with his boot. He found himself in a tough situation and couldn't really do much else to save himself. And Tony was that times two. So yeah, don't really fault David or Tony. But yeah, Sarah, I'd say overall the worst player in the game who has 2 X chromosomes. Still better than Rob and George. Let's get to the rankings, guys. Pretty straightforward, these ones, because I really want to talk about the people at the top of the rankings. We'll sprint through this a little bit. Janine is number 9, just because Janine is on the outside of that new majority foursome who have teamed up, and on the outside of the World versus Australia team as well. Because we could very well see, despite all this going on, we could very well see the World Tribe all get together again and go, hey, let's just go to the final 5 and vote out all the Aussies. So if that's the case, Janine could be in trouble because I think they'll still suspect the Australian team someone has an idol. They are not aware of anyone playing it so far, so they're going to assume someone has it, and I think Janine is a pretty safe vote. That's the only reason why I'm putting Luke above Janine. I do think Janine is a great player, potentially, just like Luke. We have seen Luke be an amazing player more than Janine, just because he's played more days, he's played more seasons. But yeah, Luke is a guy who is a little bit more likely to win an immunity challenge, in my opinion, and he also has the idol in his pocket too. But he's a big threat, and it's also just he also probably has the least chance of teaming back up with anyone or teaming up with someone on the World Tribe, no matter what the preview says. I hope I'm wrong. But yeah, I think Luke could be in trouble even though he's got the idol. And he's a decent chance to win challenges, but I still would probably bet that he's probably not going to win the next one. And yeah, I think he's going to wait to play the idol for as long as possible. And despite me thinking that I think overall Luke is the best player left in the game. Actually, overall, I think Luke is the best player in the game, Tony included. Just because I think Cirie is amazing, but Cirie just doesn't have that challenge ability like Luke can actually win the last few challenges to get himself to the end, whereas Cirie, I think it's always going to be Cirie's Achilles heel. Anyway, back to the ranking. So we've done Janine and Luke. A lot going on, a lot to talk about. This has been really fun this season. The next one, we've just got Lisa, Cass, and Tommy. I'm going to put Cass at the top of that list because she has the idol. But it is concerning that Cass seemed to be clicking so well with Parvati and Cirie pre-merge, and now they have basically dumped Cass in favour of Kirby and Shonny. I don't know. That also makes me think that it is very possible that Cass could then bring Cirie and Parvati back over. But Yeah, Lisa, I think, is a very rational player, but I get concerned about Lisa because I don't know whether Lisa is going to hold it against Sari, that Sari just lied to her, which she did. Yeah, that's scary because I don't know whether Lisa is actually going to be able to just work against Sari if it's best for a game. So Lisa might be blinded by that. And Tommy has done nothing wrong so far. He's been great. He's just not quite been able to get anything totally right at the moment. And him winning that first immunity challenge may paint him as a threat later on. Yeah, but definitely that international trio of the New Zealand, Quebec, Finland coalition is yeah, definitely sort of in together just ahead of Luke and Janine for me. Now we get to talk about this new four-person alliance. Now, the preview obviously showed Luke doing his around the world tour, trying to get everyone together who was not from America. That could very well be the case, where these five players all then turn on the new foursome. But I think ultimately, what is more likely to happen is that at least the world trio are going to go back and join up with Sari and Parvati, and you may very well see Janine and Luke on the outs. That, if I had to guess, that's probably what's going to happen from here. Just based on the connection that Parvati and Sari had with, especially Cass and Lisa, pre-merge. I think they're going to link back up, and I think Janine and Luke will be on the ones and the outs. But just to talk about it here, it was really fun to see now this top four. Seeing Sari for me is going to be number 4 because Sari is the one who is a big jury threat, but she's also not good at challenges. So I think if it comes down to a 4 person alliance with those 4, I think Sari and also Shonny, same sort of thing. I think they're going to be 3 and 4. I think Parvati and Kirby have the better chance to win those final immunity challenges, but especially Parvati. I think if you're looking at an endurance challenge, I think Parvati is definitely the one who's going to be the favourite out of that 4-player team, as the other 3 haven't really shown to be all that great in endurance challenges in the past. So if Parvati can go to the end with these 4, I'm definitely putting her at the top, and she also has all these advantages, and she's the luckiest player in Survivor history. I'll always say that. And I'm looking forward to making a video at the end of the season talking about that, how Parvati's not actually that good. She's just really lucky. I know, blasphemous words, but I'll happily lay out a case because she's very lucky and she can thank Sari a lot for her Survivor career as well. I can tell you what. Sari is a much better player around camp, but I'll still happily put Parvati just because she's better at challenges and has all these advantages. They do tend to fall into a lap a lot during her seasons. Cough, cough, heroes as villains. But then we've got this incredible scene, which I wanted to touch on, which is Kirby's unrelenting charisma that is getting her through the game, despite her often making terrible strategic moves. But if she's so charismatic that she can still pull off these really risky moves and have them work, that's awesome because it worked this time for her. I just don't know whether it's going to work long term. And having Luke, who is basically Kirby. Luke in his first season was pretty much Kirby. Like, he hadn't really seen the show before, but he was so charismatic and kind of had a knack and a love for this new game that he discovered that he kind of was getting his way most of the time because he was so charismatic and likable. And Kirby's the same way, but just having Luke pull Kirby aside and be the voice of reason really made you see, like, oh, Luke has really grown. Luke has seen some Survivor now and gets that, like, no, in a merge, you're better off just staying with your original alliance. That's the key. So, yeah, Luke ended up, he obviously his screams fell on deaf ears there, but it's Kirby backing herself and having the confidence to back herself is very, very attractive to anyone who wants to work with her, and I think that's a big part of her charm. So all for rooting for Kirby, but I still think she's number 2 in the power rankings behind Parvati, just because Parvati has all these advantages, and this will be interesting. This will be really fun. I love how much Parvati and Sari have so much reverence for Kirby, which is amazing because Kirby only played Survivor for the first time a couple of years ago. Not even a couple of years ago, like it was last year, wasn't it? Yeah, 2024 is when Kirby played Survivor for the first time. Yeah, she's been, to have Parvati and Sari talk about how great she is definitely, I think Kirby's emerging as an absolute megastar in the Survivor community after this. which is fun because the three biggest names in Australian Survivor are all men, and it's really fun to have a woman to like join them. In the Mount Rushmore of Australian Survivor is David, Luke, George, and now Kirby. I would have said another woman, Hayley. Hayley is a very good player who beat George in his first season in the final two. That was an awful season, but it did have a phenomenal final two with George and this woman Hayley who beat him. But yeah, I think Kirby's taken Hayley's spot as the fourth on the Mount Rushmore in Australian Survivor at least. And yeah, it's been so. I also love how much Parvati loves Shonee. That is adorable. I think Parvati looks to Shonee as like her adorable little sister, and it's very, very sweet. I just want to mention that as well. People were mentioning that, like, oh, is it going to be amazing when Shonee meets Parvati? And I was like, honestly, yeah, but I think it's just going to be like anyone else. I don't think it's going to be anything special. I was wrong, and I love being wrong. I love the fact that it is special, and they do seem to have this incredible connection. Yeah, I'm really into this four-person alliance that they've made with the Black Widow, the Black Mamba. For me, the greatest social player in American Survivor history, and one of the best one-liner machines and one of the best characters in Australian Survivor history in Shonee. So, really fun alliance, but I'm really hoping that my guy Luke can come up with something because I love Luke, and he's probably my favourite Australian Survivor. But as long as Luke and Suri are there, I'm happy. I'm frustrated Tony got voted off, but that's okay. My two favourites are still there and still going strong. So, boy, it's been fun. Can't wait to see how the rest of this season plays out. Loved the merge episode. I've loved every episode so far. Obviously, my last video I ranted about how the producers should all be fired on Australian Survivor for not having tribe swaps immediately and not getting more players interacting, but we still got to see some of that this episode, and it was glorious. Loving all the scenes with Parvati and Kirby and Suri and Shonee. It's everyone mixing has been so much fun, and God, I can ramble about this great show all day. It's been such a fun season. Again, first 5 episodes of this season, better than any other first 5 episodes I've ever seen in any other season. The previous holder of that would have been either Heroes as Villains or Winners at War. Winners at War was very fun for the first 5 episodes. I think it takes a dip after the tribe swap. And Heroes as Villains pretty much keeps getting peaks with an amazing premiere and then kind of keeps being pretty awesome and really peaks in episode 6 before, I think, dropping off and never quite reaching those heights again until you get to the merge episode, which is really good. But yeah, so far, best season ever for the first 5 episodes. So let's see if we can keep up. But like I said in my previous video, it could be a lot better. And Survivor producers, you should all be fired. What are you doing not having tribe swaps earlier? And costing us seeing Tony play with all the Aussies, for instance. That's probably the biggest loss. Ugh. But it's been fantastic, and loving all the women running the show. It's been good fun. Some great characters, great gameplay, and risky gameplay. People are going for it, and we can thank Kirby for most of it. I think more than anyone else we can thank Kirby. So yeah, I've definitely been won over. Kirby is a superstar, and can't wait to see more from her.